Task 5. At 301, the teacher and the social curriculum. The comparison of the Philippines and Brazil.
Hello everyone! Especially to you, Mr. Dennis Villicora. Good day, sir. I am Ortiz, Hamielyn, Virtucio, 21 years old from Poblacion Mabinay, Negros Oriental. I am a third-year student taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino at Negros Oriental State University, Mabinay Campus. Today, another day and another task I'm going to tackle, which is the comparison of the Philippines and my chosen country, which is Brazil. This is my task 5 video presentation.
1. Curriculum and curriculum making.
Question number 1. Curriculum and curriculum making in the Philippines and my chosen country, which is Brazil. But first, I'm going to discuss the curriculum and curriculum making in the Philippines. Number 1. Implemented the educational progress of the Filipinos. Number 2. Liberation period 1945. Steps were taken to improve the curriculum existing before the war. Sometimes were to restore grade 7 to abolish in the double single session, and most especially the adopt and the modern trends in the education taken from the US. The curriculum remained basically the same as before, as was still subject-centered. Number 3, Philippine Republic curriculum. Great experiments in the community school and the use of vernacular in the first 2 grades of the primary schools as the medium of instructions were some of them. An experiment worth mentioning that led to a change in the Philippine educational philosophy was that of the school and community collaboration pioneered by Jose V. Aguilar. Number 4, the Philippine Republic curriculum. Schools are increasingly using instructional materials that are Philippine-oriented. Memorandum number 13/1966 states that the order of the priority in the purchase of books for use in the schools were as follows. So, 1. Books which are contributions up to Philippine literature. Books on character education and other library materials. And library equipment and permanent features. Number 5 is that the K-12 program covers kindergarten and 12 years of basic education, 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school to provide sufficient time for mastery of concepts and skills, develop lifelong learners, and prepare graduates for tertiary education, middle-level skills development, employment, and entrepreneurship. Number 6 is the universal kindergarten education. Kindergarten has been integrated into basic education system to ensure that all grade 1 students are ready for academic learning. Mother tongue-based multilingual education. The mother tongue will be the medium of instruction from kindergarten to grade 3. So, this includes the following, which is the Tagalog, Kapampangan, Pangasinense, Ilocano, Bicol, Cebuano, Hiligaynon, Waray, Tausug, Maguindanao, Maranao, academic areas. The core academic areas include math, Filipino, English, aralin palipunan, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, music, arts, physical education, and health or MAPE. These are based on the college readiness standards of the Commission on Higher Education and are equivalent of the course offered under the General Education Curriculum of Higher Education institution. Science will be taught in grade 3, but its concept will be integrated in other subjects like health or under in MAPE, then math and languages in grade 1 and 2. Edukasyong pangtahanan at pangkabuhayan will be taught starting in grade 4. Technology and livelihood education and technical vocational specializations consistent with the technical education and skills development authority training regulation will start in grade 7. And then number 8 is the TVET or Technical Vocational Education and Training. Now, national certificate. After finishing grade 10, a student can obtain certificates of competency or also known as COC or a national certificate label 1 or NC1. After finishing a technical vocational livelihood track in grade 12, a student may obtain a national certificate level 2 or the NC2. Provided he or she passes the competency-based assessments of the Technical, Educational, and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. NC1 and NC2 improves employability of graduates in fields like agriculture, electronics, and the trade specialization, the additional 2 years in grade 11 and 12. Or the senior high school will allow students to choose among academic, technical, vocational, or sports and arts tracks depending on their interest, the community needs, and the results of their skills assessment. The senior high school will allow mastery of core competencies for lifelong learning and preparedness for work, higher education, middle-level skills development, or entrepreneurship. Number 9 is there are 7 learning areas under the core curriculum. These are the languages. First is the literature, communication, mathematics, philosophy, natural science, and social science. Current content from some general education subjects are embedded in the senior high school curriculum. Each student in senior high school can choose among 3 tracks: the academic, technical vocational livelihood, and sports and arts. The academic track includes the 3 standards, which is the business, accountancy, management or BAN, humanities, education, social science, and science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or STEM. And now let's proceed to the curriculum and curriculum making in Brazil. The educational system of Brazil is regulated by the Ministry of Education. School is divided into 3 levels, although only the fundamental education level comprised of both elementary and lower secondary is mandatory. Students are required to take a core set of language and mathematics classes. Starting in the 6th year to the next grade level. Failure to pass the test results in the student being held back. In public schools, this isn't an uncommon occurrence. Older students requiring a fundamental education can attend school but may be separated from the younger students if over the age of 18. It is common practice in schools, both public and private, to have students of all grade levels taught in the same time classroom. And at the end of the ninth year, students can choose to continue on the secondary schools, which is last for 4 years and prepare students for college. Don't give up. Failing behind can be frustrating, especially if you need to go work and support your family by a certain age. In this case, it can hinder your ability to complete your fundamental education. With our free online tutoring, you don't need to worry. You can study your current math and online English lessons and review older ones via learning at home, giving you the extra opportunity to truly understand the material. There is no need to struggle in school. We can help. Try us for 30 days with free online classes and see how you succeed.
2. Curriculum process and development.
And now let's proceed to the number 2 question: curriculum process and development in the Philippines and my chosen country, which is Brazil. But I'm going to tackle first the Philippines. Curriculum development in the Philippines. The curriculum development in the Philippines. Curriculum development is defined as the process of selecting, organizing, executing, and evaluating learning experience to the basis of the needs, abilities, and interests of learners and the nature of the society or community. What is curriculum development? What are the motives of curriculum development? Number 1 is religious. Number 2, political. Number 3, utilitarian. Number 4, for mass education. Number 5, for excellence in education. Drawback of the Philippines curriculum: the pre-Spanish curriculum, the Spanish devised curriculum, the American devised curriculum, and then the curriculum during the Commonwealth. The Japanese devised curriculum, the curriculum during the librarian period, and then the curriculum during the Republic 8, and then during the Republic, then curriculum in the new society, and Philippine basic education curriculum, and then 5 is the Philippine basic curriculum, National Elementary School curriculum, or also known as NESC, or the new secondary education curriculum, revised basic education curriculum, or also known as RBEC. Secondary Education Curriculum, Section 2010, the K-12 Basic Education Curriculum. So, what is K-12 Basic Education Curriculum? Republic Act 10533, also known as Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, is a program which encompasses at least 1 year of kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, and 6 years of secondary education in that sequence. Secondary education includes 4 years of junior high school, and we have 2 years of senior high school. The standards of the curriculum: A. Learner-centered. B. Relevant, responsive, and research-based. C. Culture-sensitive. D. Contextualized and global. E. Uses pedagogical approaches that are constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. F is adheres to the principles and framework of MTB or MLE. G, we have uses a spiral progression approach to ensure mastery of knowledge and skills after each level. H is flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same base on their respective educational and social context. And now, let's proceed to my chosen country, which is Brazil. Curriculum reform in Brazil is to develop skills for the 21st century. Claudia Costin and Teresa Pontual chapter. This chapter describes a national curricular reform process underway in Brazil. A civil society movement led by the Education or AGOS has had a major role in ensuring the continuity of this reform through political from 2013. The complaint-based National Common Curricular, or also known as BNCC, covering all the basic education from early childhood through upper secondary education, was approved by the federal government in December 2018. The 600-page document lists in the learning objectives, skills, and competencies all students in Brazil must achieve. The ambitious part of BNCC, however, are the 10 general competences that set the norm for all the grades, and subject matter specific objectives, skills, and competencies. These competencies are firmly aligned with the 21st century skills all students must develop for lead fulfilling and productive lives as global citizens. The theory of change behind the BNCC is to align the main education policies in Brazil's highly decentralized education system to these higher standards. Local curricular, state and city levels, classroom materials, students' evaluations, as well as initial and ongoing teacher training, thereby improving student outcomes. This chapter chronicles this reform effort and gives an overview of where the theory of change currently stands. Brazil has participated in the Program for International Student Assistance, or PISA, since its first application in 2000, although this country showed a great improvement in mathematics from 2003 to 2012. The OECD 2012, it has stagnated since then and has always been among the worst performance. Brazil ranked 64th in mathematics, 62nd in science and 61st in reading among 69 participating countries and economies in the 2010 edition of PISA. In OECD 2015, this is despite being the world's next largest economy, the IMF 2018 and spending more on education as a percentage of GDP than the OECD members on average of 6.2% and 5.2% respectively in 2015. According to Brazil's own assessment, the basic education evaluation system in 2015, only 43% of students learned what they should have in math and 55% in Portuguese at the end of the 5th grade. This percentage only gets worse at the higher stage of 18% in math and 34% in Portuguese in 9th grade and 7% in math and 20% in Portuguese at last year of high school. When many students have already given up on informal education. Altogether, in 2017, only 59.2% of 19-year-olds had graduated high school. One of the greatest challenges and most commonly called excuses for poor student performance in Brazil is the country size. Brazil has the 5th largest population in the world. United Nations 2017 and 48.5 million children enrolled in basic education in 2018. 81% from attend public schools, and if the scale was not challenging enough, the country's 1998 constitution added many layers of complexity when it is distributed the responsibilities for managing an education system across the members of the federation. Brazil's 5570 municipalities are responsible for early childhood exclusively and share with states for primary and lower secondary education. The 26 states are responsible for primary and lower secondary education, along with the municipalities and upper secondary education exclusively. The federal district, where the country's capital is located, is responsible for all 3 stages of basic education. The federal government is responsible for the tertiary education, and it should orient and help finance basic education in states. And the municipalities and the federal district, to add the complexity, Brazil's in 1996 in National Education Law, or also known as Lei directorizes a basis of the educational schools pedagogical autonomy, while simultaneously holding city and state governments responsible for guaranteeing all students to rate the quality education in Brazil 1996. Before the 1996 National Education Law, Brazil was still overcoming the challenge of providing all children with access to primary education. Since then, Brazil has shifted to focus on ensuring all 4 and 5 years olds have access to preschool as part of compulsory education, improving the quality of primary education. graduate from high school. We have made that strides in all these areas, but not at the desired pace, and the greatest one continues to ensuring quality with equity. Getting all students to learn what is expected for their grade level. As the country still struggles with this 20th century challenges, the 21st century challenges of making education truly relevant by broadening the scope of competencies we expect. Schools to help children develop has added many layers of complexity to the quality challenges. As we have fallen farther behind other countries, including Latin American neighborhood, and have made strides in reducing extreme poverty through conditional
3. Course program of students and prospectus.
And now, let's proceed to number 3 question. The course program and student and prospectus in the Philippines and my chosen country, which is Brazil. But first, I'm going to tackle the Philippines. Course program of the student and prospectus of the Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English is a 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will pay for you while teaching English subjects in high school. Taking this year as your major will help you get closer look of development of linguistics. The structure of the English language and the different types of literature and American, English, Afro-Asian. There are some foolish throughout the centuries. Here's the main major subject: language and literature assessment, language, research campus, journalism, remedial instruction in English, creative writing, translation, and edition of text, facilitating learning social dimensions of education. The teaching professions, principles of teaching, assessment of student learning, educational, technology curriculum development, developmental reading. The Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino is a 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will help you to gain better understanding of Filipino language, especially its phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. Now, the Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Islamic Studies is a 4-year degree. 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will be prepare you in the teaching Arabic and Islamic Studies subject in high school as an Islamic student's major. You will be taking the same professional education courses presented in a Bachelor of Secondary Education. Overview along with a couple of the other subjects such as elementary and intermediate Arabic science of our comparative religion, science of equal ibadah. The Bachelor of Secondary Education major in mathematics is a 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will prepare you in teaching of different branches of mathematics such as 1. Algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, and statistics in high school as the mathematics major. You will be taking at the same profession education courses presented in the Bachelor of Secondary Education. The overview along with a couple of other subjects such as history of math, action research in mathematics, education, mathematical investigation, and modeling. Seminar on technology in mathematics, the Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in music or arts, physical and health education is a 4-year degree program also in the Philippines that will prepare you teaching music, arts, PE and health subject in high school. As a MAPE major, you will be taking the same professional education courses presented and Bachelor of Secondary Education. The overview of along with a couple of other subjects such as the foundation of MAPE, the personal, community, environmentally, health and safety education, and first aid, anatomical, mechanical, and psychological basis of movement, methods and strategies in teaching MAPE, especially education for MAPE. Now, the Bachelor in Secondary Education major in Biology Sciences is also a 4-year degree program in the Philippines and will prepare you in teaching biological science subject in high school. As biological science major, you will be taking the same professional education courses presented in the Bachelor of Secondary Education. The overview, along with letters and laboratory units, biological science, earth and environment, science organic, chemistry, cell biology, ecology, microbiology, genetics, anatomy, and physiology, biotechnics, physics for health sciences. The Bachelor in Secondary Education major in Physical Science is also 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will prepare you in teaching physical science subject at high school. As a physical science major, you will be taking the same professional education courses presented the Bachelor of Secondary Education. The overview is along with the letters and laboratory unit in. Number 1 is the electricity and magnetism, thermodynamics, basic electronics, astronomy, biochemistry, mechanics, science, and technology and society. And we have also the Bachelor in Secondary Education major in Social Studies. It's also 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will introduce you to government and politics, economic planning and strategy, and selected laws to relate to them. As a Social Studies major, you will be taking the same professional education courses presented in the Bachelor of Secondary Education. And the overview along with the other subjects such as basic geography, world history, and civilization, macroeconomics, comparative government, and politics Asian studies, law-related studies, and socio-cultural anthropology, among others. And we also have the Bachelor Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Technology and Livelihood. And it is also 4-year degree program in the high school as teacher. You will be taking at the same professional education courses. Presented in the Bachelor of Secondary Education, the overview, along with a couple of other subjects such as basic drafting, business mathematics, entrepreneurship, basic electricity, plumbing, cosmetology, foods, carpentry and masonry, basic electronics. And we also have the Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Values Education, is also 4-year degree program in the Philippines that will free for you in teaching values education subject in high school. This program will help you understand the philosophical, ethical, social-cultural, psychological, and legal basis of values education. By focusing on this measure, we'll learn more about this spiritual development of humans, the Filipino value system, and the dynamics of interpersonal and intrapersonal com-electronic. As a value education major, you will be taking at the same professional education courses presented in the Bachelor of Secondary Education of early, along with a couple of other subjects such as number 1, personhood development, psychological theories of values development, career development, and work values. Teaching approaches and strategies is transformative education values integration in school system. Behavioral is statistic. And now let's move to the Brazil in their courses program. Brazil is an ideal location for study for many people from across the globe. This an area filled with culture and heritage, and professional can have a truly unique learning experience by taking courses in Brazil. Brazil's emerging economy can provide plenty of professional opportunities for those that pursue courses in Brazil. Courses in Brazil cover a broad range of topics and variety of industries and may be taken as part of a specific university degree program or from an academic institution. Courses in Brazil are offered from unique and emerging programs combining interactive methods with a real-world applications. These courses combine the newest adult learning methodologies with the latest in technological advancement. Prospective students can consider courses in topics such as marketing, management, sustainability, and organizational development, among others.
4. Planning a development with linkages and networking.
And the last question, the question number 4, planning development with linkages and networking in the Philippines and in Brazil. I'm going to tackle first the Philippines. The school and its community, in collaboration with public and private institutions and organizations, are indeed inspirable if they are to create an impact of the lives of the students and members of communities they are committed to serve. Various groups from the both are very willing to join forces in pursuing mutually beneficial and productive programs and projects for the good interest of all. All that is needed are well-defined plans and creative efforts aimed at establishing close affiliations between and among them. Such interrelationships will be characterized by reciprocity and attainment of educational objects. Harnessing the tremendous influence and expertise of both groups will be able to extend is definitely a laudable step towards promoting the desired proficiency of the teaching force in the school as well as efficiency in the service of some associated organization. The school can enjoy linkages and networking activities with international, national, and local organizations in the community for mutual benefit and assistance needed. The first step is for the school to prepare a list of projects and activities in plans to undertake, including the such needed assistance in terms of human and material resources. Then, determine the institutions and organizations with parallel objectives and service. A joint scheme could be worked out with higher education institution offering degree along the same line, such as teacher education. Different schools and laboratories for field study courses and practice teaching. Hence, the exposure of future teachers to a reality of teaching. A network system could be designed incorporating the strength and availability of service and expertise from both of or among the group. The schools could also benefit immensely from agencies whose mission include corporate social responsibility. With the help of such organizations, the school could fully realize its objective of delivering quality educational service for the country's youth. As the networking plan progresses, the enormous contributions of all the willing partners deserve the community's commendation and patronage. Linkages, also termed interconnections, with institutions functioning along the same mission are intended to serve members of both sides according to their respective needs, interests, and objectives. They create bonds together to solicit support and assistance for purposeful activities which could be facilitated faster and better considering the double of energy and resources. The following are some working linkages between school, nationwide, and associations. Centers with local office manned by a complete set of officials and active members. The number one is international linkages. A. Philander Theta is an international honor society and professional association of women educators. Based in its main office in Michigan, chapters are located in different universities nationwide. The only chapter outside the United States in the Philippines are chapter. Established in the country more than 3 decades ago. Its main project is the ELTP, or also known as Excellence in Teaching Program, started in 1997, coordination with the Metrobank Foundation. It supports 15 third-year BSE or BEE students until they graduate. It also honors outstanding student teachers from College of Education. The president and some members of the association attend a biennium hosted by chapters abroad during their term. The three-day convention tackles current issue, advance and trends in teacher education, which are discussed among the local members upon their return. The local chapter hosted twice, 1997 and 1999, a study tour and an initiation rites held with members from abroad in attendance. B is the Enotech. Is the center of training education leaders from the Southeast Asian region under the CMU organization. It conducts training programs to upgrade competencies of teachers from the region in all disciples. One of its projects is to upgrade teaching knowledge and skills. In implementing alternatives learning system, it has prepared a comprehensive framework on peace and multicultural diversity. C. Work Council for Curriculum and Institution, or WCCI, has a local chapter with recently hosted a 3-day international congress with international president. Officials and members from the different countries is attendance. The council holds conference in the different countries annual in which is participated by members of the local chapter. D. Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, or ASCD, is a membership organization that develops programs, products, and services initial to the way educators learn, teach, and lead. Founded in 1943, ASCD is an educational leadership organization dedicated to advancing best practices and policies for the success of each learner. It has 150,000 members in more than 145 countries who are professional educators from all levels and subject areas. Superintendents, supervisors, principals, teachers, professors of education, and school board members. It is non-profit, non-partisan members organization that provides expert and innovative solutions in professional development, capacity building, and educational leadership, essential to the way educators learn, teach, and lead. Conduct projects for college teachers. The council likewise hold international conference in mathematics education. Thank you so much for listening. That would be all my task 5 video presentation. I am Ortiz, Hamielyn of Virtucio.